Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hoopin with Christy and Debbie right here on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. I am Christy Winters Scott, joined as always by my bestie, Debbie Antonelli. Oh, there, my hearts are going.
Oh, thank you, Christy.
Now, what an amazing restart to the WNBA season. And the Hot Fever, you know all about them. You cover them on a daily. What have they done in their first two games to strike the match and keep it lit?
Well, Kelsey Mitchell's playing great, right? I mean, she's just running the floor hard, and her speed is definitely a factor. Lexi Hall has played well, and usually we start with Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston, but that's what Indiana needed, is some other pieces to pick it up, and they're looking pretty good. As a matter of fact, Indiana and New York have 2 wins over playoff teams coming off the break, so that tells you that they're both playing at a high level. Of course, you know, Clarkonomics is having a major impact on and off the court. It's just absolutely incredible. Yeah. Finally, somebody asked Caitlin about it post-game if, you know, she had any idea of the numbers. And, of course, she, in a very humble way, as she always does, you know, said that she recognized it, but it's certainly not a factor. I mean, the kid keeps her focus where it needs to be, and that's the most important thing. She always keeps the main thing. But I think that's probably part of the reason why they're playing so well. That Lexi Hull at 6 threes the other night, and that's what they need. They need that consistent effort from others, because you know that Caitlin and Leah are going to deliver.
Absolutely, and speaking of delivering, Caitlin Clark has been delivering, you know, Tisha Pinachero-esque passes. And speaking of Tish, she surpassed the rookie record for assists. And you know, you think of Caitlin Clark and the Clarkonomics and everything like that, and everyone thinks logo threes. She does so much more than that, and people need to see the full scope of her impact on the game. But her assist numbers, phenomenal for a 22-year-old rookie. Tisha was a little older as a rookie in the WNBA, but, I mean, that's just phenomenal that she wants to be that playmaker. And she said, I want to set my teammates up in viable positions for our team to succeed. And more kids need to see that, because I've seen kids dribble the air out of the ball and it drives me bananas. Man, move the ball. She moves the basketball.
It's a space game, right? It's all about creating space, creating numbers, whether it's in transition in numbers or it's one side of the floor. You're trying to get a 3-on-2 on this side, and you have to move the ball because the ball moves faster than the bounce. She sees all 9 players. It's a phenomenal study of the game, and to be repped over and over. And, you know, a lot of times she throws a lot of timing pattern passes, like in football. You know, the timing of, she's just got a great rhythm to see everything. Yeah. And then, she turns it over a little bit, but as part of that risk reward where she's going to deliver more than she's going to turn it over. And I think the turnovers are going to really slow down now in the second half, as the game has slowed down for her while she has sped it up for her teammates. It's great.
Absolutely. And she looks stronger to me. Like you were talking about how she was putting time in the gym. Hey, 1% better for a whole month in terms of weight room. She just looks physically stronger.
I think she's just incredibly confident. I mean, the kid has the ability to play next, you know, the next play, every play, as my buddy Kevin Eastman would say, next and every. And she's right there. She turn it over, move on. Somebody doesn't catch it, move on. I mean, I think she's doing a remarkable job. And you can see that the rest helped all of them, especially Kelsey Mitchell. I think Kelsey she's just killing it right now, and she knows it. And I heard her talking about being a free agent at the end of the season. So hopefully we'll see what happens there. There's a lot of talk about free agency and people moving around now. And now, you know, when they used to talk about it, because there wasn't a lot of money involved,
right?
But now you got to think about other factors. So there's a lot to consider. And now it feels like, not that it wasn't a business before, but because it feels more like a business now.
Right.
I think people are going to look at things differently.
Yeah. And, you know, speaking of business, Angel Reese is taking care of business. Another double-double for this young rookie who has just lit it up on the interior with her play. 19 points, 20 rebounds, and a loss, albeit, to the Phoenix Mercury. But she was on one. Her second jump, I saw Kevin Garnett. Hey, shout out to the Big Ticket. He said her second jump was phenomenal. And that's why she is able to get to the basketball right away, whether it's offensively or defensively on the glass.
Angel knows what her job is, and she also keeps the main thing the main thing. Her focus is on the glass. That's where she helps her team the most, and she consistently brings that effort. It's unique, the effort, not just the skill set. Not everyone has that rebounding mentality. I mean, you got to go every time. She's going every time, regardless of where the shot. She reads the angles very well. Yes. And she's athletic and long, and she's a fighter around the boards.
Yes.
Like, she's going to fight for position. She's going to fight you for space. I mean, it's quite remarkable. I don't know. A lot of people, I don't know. The double thing is really impressive. I'm not taking that away from her. No way. Because the energy, okay. Same thing with Caitlin.
Right.
Nobody before her has done the things that she's doing.
Right.
With Angel, that particular part of the game, nobody has done that before. When we think about rebounding, we think about Rebecca Brunson.
Yes.
Right? Like we think about Dennis Rodman in the NBA. Okay, those players come along once in a while, but not everybody has that mentality.
Right.
And I think the good thing about what Caitlin and Angel do is show you the other value in the game besides just scoring or shooting it. Now, I'm not saying shooting's not important in scoring because it's very important. But
check on you for a second there.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm keeping the main thing, Christy.
Okay. I was checking. Go ahead.
But it just shows how everything you do, from a study to a fitness to the way you eat and train, all of it to do your special skill. It really makes the team better.
Yeah, no question. I mean, she has the rookie record for double doubles, and then Caitlin Clark has the rookie record for assists. So yeah, kids, pay attention. It's not just about getting a bucket, although buckets are great. You can do other things to impact the team. And speaking of other things to impact the team, let's go up to New York and discuss what this team has done to start the second half of the season. I mean, they beat the Aces. Right now in the power polls, they are in a fisticuffs right there at 1 and 2, but right now it's New York at 1.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at a little bit of New York this morning. I mean, they only have 4 losses, and they have a loss to Chicago, Indiana, Phoenix, and Minnesota. You can argue all playoff teams. So they really don't have a bad loss right now. I mean, if Chicago can stay in there now, keep your eye on Atlanta because they're making a push at the bottom, from the bottom third to the middle third. I think they've got an opportunity. They got to score the ball better. They can score it. Their defense is already good. But I was looking at Atlanta. Let's stick with New York first. I mean, they have Stewie, and when you have players like Asia Wilson and Breanna Stewart, you're going to be in the conversation to be able to win. Those are the 2 best players coming off the Olympics. They're still the 2 best players in the league right now. They played remarkably well over there. I mean, I like New York. I just like their balance. I like the way Stewie can impact the entire box score, even the right side, with her ability to play D, block shots, get steals. I just think New York is really tough to beat, and they've played well, and they don't have a bad loss.
Right. And with Courtney Vandersloot's return to the lineup, how do you think that they've looked with her back? And Jonquel Jones, I mean, she's the understated X factor as well, especially on the glass, and her interior play and ability to stretch the floor out to 3.
Christy, I'm a big believer in the 40 minutes inside the game. You have to be able to change the rhythm somehow. And the rhythm can be changed in a variety of ways. It could be substitutions. It can be calling a timeout. It could be changing your defense. It could be changing the pace that you want to play offensively. There's a lot of ways that you can impact the rhythm of the game, because you can't play the same way over and over. I'm not saying you don't run the same play back to back if you score and they have a problem with their ball screen coverage on this particular set in this particular area on the floor. But New York has a lot of ways they can change the game. They can change the game because of their personnel. And the 2 players you mentioned are a big part of that. You want to go big, you want to play small, you want to play fast. You got veteran experience. Courtney's already won a title. She knows what it takes to win a title. Remember, New York's one of the franchises that has not won a championship in the WNBA, which is hard to believe, right?
Crazy.
But I think that's my answer to that. Teams that have the most variables to move around and to change the pace and the rhythm.
Are you concerned at all with Vegas right now? and the way that they're playing, and they're playing great. I mean, Asia Wilson right now, front runner, obviously for MVP. They have 4 Olympic gold medalists on their team. What is your concern, or is there a concern about where they are right now as the second half begins?
Well, I want to take a deeper dive and look at their schedule, what they have remaining, like what they've taken care of. I mean, they're definitely a playoff team. Seeding will be important for them. I'm not really, I'm not overly concerned about anything with them. It's a matter of getting in the playoffs right now. That's the way I look at it. And then what seed you get. It's just like the NCAA tournament, right? Are we in? Where are we going to be seeded? Who do we have to play? Where and when? That's the matchup issue of the league. Vegas has way too many variables, too much experience. I still think they have the want to. Some nights they show up with a little less. But when it gets time for, keep the main thing. I think they have plenty of talent. They're going to be hard to guard. And when they really move the ball, you were talking about moving the ball before, when it doesn't get stuck and they get advantages, like I was saying earlier, 3 against 2, 2 against 1 on different sides of the floor. Different teams that they play that are in drop coverage on Asia. She can make them pay. I mean, there's all those things go into it, which makes it so fun to break down the league because there's so much talent. And it's fun to call those games when they're playing at a high level.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Atlanta, you're kind of alluding to what they've looked like out of the break and making that push to the middle sector of the standings in the WNBA. Tina Charles, in a dramatic fashion, got that leaner, and she shoots back here anyway. So good luck trying to block it. But Tina Charles coming up huge with the one-legger to force a win for the Atlanta Dream and giving them the momentum you were just alluding to there.
Well, I mean, that's a team full of athletes that plays really good D with pace. They just got to shoot it better. Overall, their offense, they run good. It's not a matter of what they run, or it's a matter of making shots for them, I think. And I was looking at them this morning because I was, thinking that because they've had a couple of wins against playoff teams coming off the break, I'm thinking, what do they need to do? They're 0-2 against the Fever, but they play the Fever 2 more times. So right now, Indiana has the tiebreaker over them. Okay. And I looked at Chicago. They're 1-2 versus Chicago with 1 more game to play, which is towards the end of the season. So they do not right now have the tiebreaker against those 2 teams, which could matter later on. Now's the time of the year in the season where I start looking at the tiebreakers because it does matter on playoff implications, who gets in, who doesn't. And having the tiebreaker definitely means something to these teams and these coaches. And they are well aware of the tiebreaker scenario most of the time when we get to this point in the season, right? They know what they need to do.
Absolutely. And what we want to also take a look at, and what coaches and GMs are probably looking at as well, is the Gabby Williams sweepstakes after the Olympics. There was a lot of chatter about her possibly finishing the WNBA season somewhere on a team back in the league after competing for the silver medal with the French national team. So what have you heard on that front? And will Gabby come back to the WNBA this year?
That's a big rumor. Seems like a good rumor that she could come back. You could argue she was the best player on the floor in the gold medal game, right? I mean, she played so well and has improved so much. I just remember at UConn, she was just such a great athlete. In the W, such a great athlete, but needed a little skill. Like her handle had to get better, her scoring had to get better from other parts of the floor, and she did all that. And she put it on display in the gold medal game. Anybody would be lucky to get her. The teams that need her would be the teams that are trying to make a playoff push at the bottom. Teams that need an athletic 3 or can play a 4 and can bust up ball screen coverage, can run the floor, can finish in transition, and now has a 3-point weapon, which is great to see.
How about that?
Yeah, good stuff.
Which team do you think needs her the most, and that bottom half of the league that you were talking about?
Well, I think Indiana might like to have the versatility of an athletic 3, very athletic. I mean, I'm talking about athletic, Olympic athleticism. That's exceptional. I think that's the team that I think of the most. I think Seattle,
Okay.
you know, I don't know, Horston plays that role for them in some ways. Phoenix, you know, Kalia Copper has all that plus the skill set. I definitely think that she has to be very strategic with her team, her you know, her agent and everybody about what
Sure.
she's trying to accomplish the last, you know, end of the season. Like, what is she trying to get? Does she want to help a playoff team? Is she thinking not this year and thinking years down the road?
Right.
I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. It's like I said at the beginning, it's business, right? It's all business right now. It's good. It's good for the league.
It is good for the league. And, you know, another business aspect of the WNBA is, you know, the trade deadline is right here. Do you see anyone making wholesale moves at this juncture? You're just talking about the importance of this playoff race and push.
Yeah.
Could there be any shifts and moves with rosters right now?
That's a good one. I mean, I wish I understood all the intimacy of free agency and restricted free agents and who can move and who can and salary cap. And, you know, I try not to study all that because I don't want to put my focus there.
Right.
I just want to keep my focus on ball screen coverage, pick and roll offense, you know, hoops, right? There's too many smart people in front offices that figure all that out. And Her Hoop Stats has a lot of smart people that break that down. If you read their stuff, it's excellent.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to, you know, Aaron Barzilai has incredible people that break all that down. So that's a good place to go if you want to learn that or figure it out. You know, I don't know, Christy.
It's tough.
It's a hard, you think about what teams need and they don't really want to tell you because they don't want to expose their own weakness and or take away the confidence of what they already have in the roster, you know?
I mean, I think it's a tough position for coaches and GMs to be in right now. Right. And, you know, we both coached. So it's like, you don't really want to rock the boat too much. You know, you want to kind of refine what you have and go for it. I don't know. I'm just thinking like, if I'm in this position right now as a GM or a coach, would I want to make any major changes at the trade deadline? And I don't know. I'm kind of reserved in that way. I think I would just like hold pat and let it run its course and just chip away and get better and stack days. But I mean, everybody's different. But I don't know. Would you be on the safeguard side or would you be on the risky side and see what happens?
I would always have someone on my staff that is constantly exploring all the metrics, right? It's kind of like in college right now, someone on a college basketball staff is always paying attention to the portal in the underbelly of underground of, right? You have to be alert.
That's true.
And when you get into, you know, this deep in, you know, this is where you hear rumblings, rumors, people are happy, not happy. This is the part that we are going to, you know, from a business standpoint, I think this is where the players are evolving too, right? It isn't just about they made me hurt my feelings because they did this. It's a business, it's numbers. And I mean, we've both, you know, I've been on the short side of the business side of the W before. You know, it's a business. It's not personal.
Right.
So, you know, you got to have that attitude. I think the players are learning and understanding that, but I also think that they are, you know, some motivated by money, some motivated by relationships, and you got to balance that on your team when you're trying to make moves, like you said. I'd be interested in some risk if I thought it definitely could impact, but I would be cautionary about long-term as well, not just the next, you know, 5 weeks of the regular season or whatever we have left.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? It's like going to the end, man. It's a full sprint on the straightaway, run through the tape for all the teams, especially the ones trying to get into that top 8 of the 12 teams to make the playoffs. So we'll see what that looks like. So is there anything else, WNBA, you want to chit chat about?
Man, you know what? I'm just excited. I think on my personal schedule, I've got like 10 games left in the next 5 weeks. I'm so excited about the finish, the push, getting back with the fever. We've got, you know, we're going to be in Minnesota on Saturday, which should be a really fun game. Indiana beat Minnesota the last time they were there. Maya Moore's retirement ceremony at the Lynx
Yes.
And I'm very excited that I'll get a chance to be there. Of course, I was in Knoxville when Maya went into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. So it's quite an honor. It's kind of cool storyline because, as we know, that was Caitlin Clark's favorite player growing up. So it's kind of cool that they're doing it on that night. And, you know, it'll be a full house. It's a full house everywhere. And everyone that is asking me for tickets,
You're tapped out. Like, you don't have any.
It is.
No digital tickets. No,
it's
nothing.
tough.
I love it. No, that's going to be a phenomenal game. And I didn't even put that together. Yes, Caitlin Clark's really fandom of mine more growing up. That's going to be a very sweet moment. I will definitely be watching. And with the Mystics, we have about the same left, 10, 12 games for the end of the season here. And we have Seattle tonight. And then Friday, LA comes into DC. And they're actually retiring Elena Beard on Friday. So that's going to be a nice ceremony for the founding fans here in DC as well. And I want to tap into your t-shirt because we're doing the shirt check week. Talk to me about that.
Clarkonomics, baby. You know, Clarkonomics. It's the definition of what we're experiencing. I put it under one word, under one umbrella. This does not diminish the other things other players are done, or doesn't diminish anybody else. Yeah. Caitlin's light shines on everyone. Yeah. And I think the greatest impact is felt in the box office. It's felt in arena stores all around the country, but especially a shout out to the people working in the Indiana Fever team store. Yes. Because that place is packed.
It's popping.
And I don't know, we've talked about this before, Christy.
Yeah.
When the players get ready to renegotiate their collective bargaining agreement, yeah. I hope there is some major deep dive experiment, something on the licensing and the royalty of jersey sales, because there's a lot of money there. And the players that's how Clarkonomics impacts everyone else. That's one example of it. That's one. Absolutely. I could cite 10 or 15 if we had time, but that's why it's Clarkonomics, and just the economic impact that she's had on the city of Indianapolis and the state of Indiana. I mean, I say our TV package is in 10 of the top 100 media markets, and the ratings are really, really, really good. No surprise.
No surprise. Yeah. And what's that? The trend now is give me my money. Yeah. Say that, Deb. Say, give me my money.
Yeah. Give me my money.
That's how it goes. Anyway, no, I love it. But yeah, for me, I have the Kobe Bryant Black Mamba jersey on. His birthday is the 23rd, which is coming up here this week. But they're going to be celebrating on 8/24 hashtag Kobe Day. So that's what's going on my side of the street here with Kobe, and how he was a phenomenal girl dad and an advocate for the WNBA and all things women's sports, not just hoops, but soccer, tennis, everything, ballet. Like, he had his girls involved, and he always kept them in front of winners. And winners win regardless of gender. And I think that he was the first one to tap into that and give us our due respect as women in sports. So rest in peace to the Mamba and Gigi and all 9 that lost their lives on that horrible day. But definitely giving him love and respect today. But I also wanted to add that I went to, did you want to add on, Kobe?
I just love that his wife has been visible at places and recognized for it, and it continues to keep that great legacy so that we can have the conversation that you just had. Yes. That's so important. And that's all I want to say about that. I think, I mean, I'll never forget the day he passed, because I had the Oregon State game in Corvallis, and Sabrina, was playing in that game, and she did not know. I went over to see Kelly Graves to give him the news because he was sitting on the bench. And as soon as I told him the news, the first thing out of his mouth was, "Where's Sabrina?"
Oh. And
he went into the locker room immediately. Upon getting in the locker room, he was trying to get there before she got the news on her phone, but it was too late. She already had it. Maybe. So it gives me chills. It was very sad. Very sad moment.
You said what? I'm sorry.
Very sad moment. I mean, it took a minute. We had an hour and a half before the game when the news came. We were on ESPN2, I think. So, it's tough. tough for Sabrina, and she played really well.
She did. I remember that. And for me, I was at Jordan, our youngest son, had an AAU game. He was 13, right? It was about the same age as Gigi. Where exactly where they were headed, right to the gym for a game, and that's going to take me right now. But anyway, one of the moms of a teammate of Jordan's came over and told me the news. I'm sitting there with my mom, and I just like lost it. I had to be walked. I couldn't even feel my feet walking out of the gym, Deb. Like, and I slid down the wall when I got out there. It was just horrible. And the kids were all looking at me. They didn't know they're in layup line. And they just hear me like, and I couldn't hold, it was like, I just started wailing. So that was a horrible day. But the impact is long lasting. And, you know, they've been doing all the dedications of the statues. The one with he and Gigi was the latest one, or the most recent one. And just Vanessa, I don't know if she'll watch this, but I just am always prayerful for her and her strength and how she taps into doing the best for her girls. And that's all you can do as a mom, as we know, right? They're going to look to you for strength. So that's what gives you strength, if that even makes sense. But it's a real struggle for me to watch her, you know, because you know, I don't know where she taps into for that, but moms are strong, moms are tough, but you know, we don't always want to be that way. So I'm sure there are moments where she is not that way. But absolutely what you said, her presence has been empowering to all of us in a lot of different levels of that, for sure.
Yeah. Good stuff, Christy.
Yeah. I don't want to end it on that. So I'm going to end it on letting you know Belle Biv DeVoe, right? You know Belle Biv DeVoe and Boys to Men. Okay.
Yeah.
One of my mom friends had tickets to a show, and the random day, like before, she was like, "Hey, one of my other friends can't go. Do you want to go?" I was like, I don't know. It's like outdoors at Wolf Trap. It was supposed to rain. I was like, you know, my hair. It's like, oh, I don't want to know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going. So we go over there, 4 good girlfriends sitting, watching. And Belle Biv DeVoe said, "Hey, we need some help closing the show. So if you can get up here in 30 seconds, you can come help us close it out." And I was like, Debbie, I ran up there. So my whole thing now is hashtag Ronnie Mommy, Ricky and Mike. You know how they go Ronnie Bobby, Ricky Mike, Ronnie Mommy. I got up there and I helped Belle Biv DeVoe close out their little show there. And then I started getting all the texts. One of my kids I coached was there with her mom, Taylor, and her mom, Taylor. They sent me a picture and I'm like hands in the air or something, waving around. But I love it. Time. So I wanted to give you a giggle. It was, you know, one of those YOLO, I'm doing it moments. I got to the stage, lifted up like I was getting out of the pool, and turned around and got up, and I was in there. So yeah. It was a great night. It was so funny. And my adrenaline, I couldn't sleep when I got back because I looked out and I saw all the people and I was like, oh my God, what am I doing up here? But they gave me 30 seconds. Like I had to go.
You could make that anywhere. You could make it from the back of the concert hall.
I made it. I went down the little steps. I was like, ding, 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 ding. And I got up there and had a time. So
I can see you right now.
I was like,
yeah,
I did it. But anyway.
Well, I spent the weekend in Greensboro around the KYAL Cancer Fund. We had our retreat board of directors meeting and our golf tournament. And the best part about the Play for K and everything in Coach Yow's legacy, which this is the 16th year of the fund, $8.78 million working in grants to cure cancer. It's outstanding. And it's in a variety of grants. It's from $1 million grants to research to $100,000 grants to serve under-resourced communities. So it's good work, and it's a good, positive way to end.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Rest in peace to KYAL, pioneer, to say the least, in our beautiful game. And so you had a chance to play for her at NC State, but she impacted more than just basketball. We know that, USA basketball. And now with you continuing to support her name and legacy, that's just so beautiful, and how it's thrived over the 16 years. I can't believe that.
Yeah, I know. It's been really good. And A lot of good work. Jenny Palmatier, the CEO, former coach, played for K, was on Coach Al's staff, has been a head coach at D1. She's our CEO, and she's doing a phenomenal job.
I love it. I love it. That's where we need to tap out and end. I love great juju and good energy, and that's always when I'm with you, my friend. Oh my gosh, Debbie.
Right back at you, Christy.
I love you so much. Thank you guys for joining us on Hoopin with Christy and Debbie right here on the Her Hoop Stats Podcast Network. We will see you next week.